Ahalya here, a contributor to A Humming Heart, and I'm here with the one, the only Tribemama Marykali, but also Katharina Valayil. This is honestly take 57,
Yay!
so we're just going
You
for
got
it.
it right.
Take 57. It's actually the day after release day. It's 21st April, which is the day after Kerela Gold, Marykali's debut EP comes out. How are you feeling?
Oh, I feel ecstatic. It's wonderful. The EP is a lovely story, and I think I put it one time in Instagram. I do a lot. I write a lot, and I
Mm.
write a lot of songs. And Tej from Expert Quality Third Culture, he sent a message saying, "Hey, you got some demos," and I sent it over. And he picked these two songs out, and he was like, "Let's do it together." And I was like, "Are you sure, man?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Let's name it Kerala Gold." And I'm like, "Wow, man, that is so cool. Yeah, let's do it." And then yeah, and I got to work with the musicians, the producers. One guy is sitting in Delhi, and I'm here sitting in Kerala, and another one of my producer is in Abu Dhabi. So
Yeah.
it was wonderful to see them work, to work online. It's a totally different experience. Yeah, for me, it was a learning experience, and it was a great act of courage.
Yeah.
Finally I get it. Yeah, it's not every time in my life in an artist life you get to say you dropped an EP. For me, it's a huge thing. Like, yeah, EP is the first step,
Yeah.
to many other steps. It's the beginning of the journey, I guess.
I listened to both the songs. Absolutely love the vibe that both of them sort of give you when you listen to them. It's just so groovy and it's so positive. There's just something so positive about it. So absolutely delighted to have heard that.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
feeling positive. That is so important, right?
Yeah.
Past 2 to 3 years, things have been so rough. It was very important to be positive.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I was so, yeah, am I cutting in? Sorry.
No, no, go for it. Go for it. You were so.
Yeah. It's like 3 years, I was actually procrastinating. It
Mm-hmm.
was very hard for me as an artist to come out of it. Like, I thought if I don't do it, I'm never going to do it. And that's when COVID happened, and slowly I had to like break, yeah, break off, like come out of my tombstone, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
because I was working in
you came out of your tombstone with Kerala
out of my
Gold.
tombstone. Yes, I
Yeah.
did. I do call it the procrastination over a period of time. Is like a tombstone syndrome. It's like you bury yourself, you're already calling yourself dead, and because you're over anxious or whatever. And plus, sometimes it's also lazy because you're so lazy. You're like, I know I'm good. I just don't want people to say that I'm good. And that you can give
Yeah.
yourself so many excuses, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but it's a tombstone syndrome. So I broke off it. I was like, okay, I'm here. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, and I love that
To
because
me, it was
you're not just dropping an EP, you're also performing so much. I have been seeing you all around at all of the festivals and all of the lineups. So how has that been after like 2 or 3 years, like you said, of just being like, procrastinating and being like at home because of COVID and all of that? Are you enjoying yourself?
I am. No, it was like 3 to 4 years I've been plotting this. I've been like laying, if I ever come out, if I ever doing this, I'm doing it like this.
Okay.
And even my hair, I wanted my hair to be long. I wanted it to be a very spiritual journey for me. So I was praying, I was meditating. It's very crazy, right? When I talk like this, I hope I'm not freaking you out, but this is
No.
practically, I plotted this. I plotted this. I was like, no, if I'm ever going to do this, I'm going to be a performer. Because I grew up watching James Brown. I grew up watching Prince. I grew up watching Michael Jackson. I grew up on MTV. There used to be a time where MTV had a lot of music. I'm and then I was a part of the film industry, and the playback singing is entirely different. It's like you're a playback singer. You're being told what to sing. You're supposed
Mm,
to follow the script, and that was that was restricting me. It is a very rigid structure,
mhm.
and as an artist I want to express freedom. I want to free my mind. I want to be free. I want free flow. So as a
Yeah.
performer, yes, from I all but I used to dance in school and college and all. And when I became a mom, I was like, I was so uncool for my kids. I was like, you don't know what I'm capable of. I'm gonna show you, mama, show you, okay? you know all they're saying is, get your things done. And I just wanted to be a cool mom also. So I was like, my kids and I relate so well now because they show me K-pop and I'm like, oh yeah, K-pop's cool, huh? Okay. It's like, I want my kids to say cool.
You want your kids to see Marykali on stage, and then it blows their mind.
Yeah, but they still go. They watch me, and then they'd be like, "Ma, you want to see what Lisa did from Blackpink?" And I'm like, "Oh my god!"
I have a question for you though. Like, have your kids? I mean, do they listen to like pre-K and Bless Your Heels and stuff like that, and like actually pay attention to the lyrics?
Yeah, they do pay attention to the lyrics, and when my eldest one goes, "Ma, you said a bad word. Don't tell Appa, okay? Appa doesn't know you said a bad word." I'm like, "Baby, that's all right." Then she's like, "Why adults saying bad words and all?" And I'm like, "Oh, geez." But I do tell her sometimes. It's like for her, for my elder one, the way she sees music, she's slowly understanding that it's self-expression. It's being yourself when you're an indie. So she's like, "Oh, this is how it happens," and it's something good to hand down. If I never did indie, I wouldn't have been in a position to tell my children, it is important to be yourself, in the society. Yeah. So for us, even my husband, for that matter, he's like, "You must do you. You shouldn't compromise. Yeah, on yourself. It's all right." It's all right. And I get all of these outfits and he's like, "You're wearing that and doing this." And I'm like, "Yeah, baby, I'm wearing this and I'm doing this." And he's like, "Okay, so you go kill it, okay?"
Oh, that's really good. And actually, yeah.
Yeah, come back with a smile. And I'm like, okay, I am blessed. I am blessed, Ahalya, for this all performance. All of this is working out for me because ultimately when I come back home, after a good day's work, I have peace of mind.
Yeah, and that is so important. Yeah, that is so important. And a couple of things, because you've given us so much already, I want to ask you, the Indian music space, like in terms of what it encompasses, what kind of music it encompasses, the kinds of artists that it's inclusive of, it's changing in real time for us. Like we're witnessing it as it's happening. Like, how do you define that, and how do you want to like fit into that space? Have you already plotted that out, or is it something that is constantly evolving for you?
It's constantly evolving for me. I thought I got it figured the way I am, but I'm still learning. I understood that there are a lot of things in this industry, the etiquettes too. And I'm still it's not old school. I'm still a person who like to thank people, and I'm a very private person. So slowly, when everything is like opening up for me, the number of people I thank is increasing. So I'm like, it's taking a lot of time, and I'm trying to save my energy because I'm also a full-time mom, and even the labeling, I'm like, no, I embrace all labels. I embrace all labels, and to me, it's integration. I'm not here to judge anyone. If I'm being judged, that's because this person has been judged. So I don't take anything personal, and I'm embracing this journey, and nothing is defined for me. I'm evolving my friendship, my level of maturity, my aesthetics, everything,
Yeah, because also, if you listen to a lot of like your discography, right, there's so much of it that is just very like, I don't know how to say this, but like grounded and like open throat vocals and just very Indian in its sound. And then all of a sudden, like it just switches somewhere around the time where maybe like Pre-K was released, right? And then it's just like completely ambient and R&B and very, very groovy. So talk to me about
very groovy, right?
Yeah, talk to me about changing that. Like, how did that just sort of flip for you, that sound?
Kerala is very, very has a very strong rock foundation, and all of the musicians that I'm working with, they are all rockers, and it's very hard to go into a band or make a band or be with musicians and try and influence yourself. You got to influence the musicians to bring them to your vibe, and that took time. So when you see me do open throat, it's me adapting to the majority of musicians in the room that I'm present with. But slowly I dismantled it and went back, and I started working one-on-one with producers, and I was very strict. I said, dude, I'm a groovy person. Okay, when I do shake my ass a lot when I sing and I move, and I
Yeah.
want that reflected. It was very hard. It was very hard. Even the editing, when I sit with the cameraman, I tell them, except for
Yeah.
Lendrick, every other guy who I've worked with, I do tell the editor really while it is, dude, it's all right for a mom to be sexy. It's all right to make it groovy. It is all right. It is music. There's dignity in all of this. You shouldn't be shy. I'm not shy, and I have to give this whole class here and work it out. So in that process, I've also understood sometimes I can be too much, I felt in some places I was a bit too much because I was like completely focusing on breaking the pattern that's currently existing here in my side of the state. So that was the applauding. When you see the open throat singing and everything, it was applauding. I was like, I'm trying to adapt, but then I cannot adapt. But I'm working with these musicians, and it's a learning process. But I'm not ashamed. I am going to put that music out. So you find, my throat chakra. I like to say that it's opening up. Yeah. And then the other one, when suddenly Free K comes out, and there's a very sassy, kinky side to it, and I'm like, yeah, this is the feminine side of it, where I assert myself, but I say, no, brother, the music is going to sound like this. The lyrics are going to be like this. I am not bringing it down because it makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you can. That's very visible. Yeah, that shift is extremely visible. And I was also thinking about this when I was listening to a lot of your music recently, which was that you're so many things in one person. And I find the number of facets to you very interesting, because how does that play into your actual music making process, right? Like, do you choose these different, like, do you say, like, today I'm going to write from my experience as a mother, or today I'm going to write from my experience as a woman? Or is it all together and then in a song?
I think it's all together. I've never compartmentalized. Like today, I will write. It's for me. I'm trying to integrate a lot of things. I know I am a lot of things. I get lost because I'm a lot of things. Okay. So I try and integrate them. I don't separate them. That's what is called colonization. When you start labeling, when you start compartmentalizing, it is colonizing. And for me, decolonization, as I'm a product of I'm a product of my colonizers. I come from Kerala, where we have a lot of Christianity, we have a lot of faith, we have a lot of religions in India. And for me to actually break all of that and then interact as an artist, and make a point, it is a struggle. So for me, I decolonize myself. It's very important to me. I decolonize myself. Okay. And you don't decolonize yourself by being ignorant or like muting the labels. You decolonize by accepting that there are going to be many labels. There are going to be different parts of you. How can you bring all that together? Right. For me, all of it has to work. All of it has to come together and work. Right. Nothing separate will not work for me, because I'm a married woman. I have a family. I cannot separate it. I can't behave one way at home and another way, with my musicians. I have to be the same person.
Yeah, consistency, like that's what it sort of like bleeds into the music making process, that consistency.
Yes. So I try and be as much as original and authentic as I can, and in that process, if the mom side comes out too strong, it's just one of those songs.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I have this question for you, right? You are extremely laser focused when it comes to your messaging, when it comes to your music. Every song sort of stands for something, but then there's also that whole side to art, which is like, it's up for interpretation. But how do you like balance those two things out when you are so dedicated to the clarity of a message that you're going to give through a song?
I have a good team. I sit with my team. I sit with my director. I sit with my producer. We really have discussions. And I'm like Dr. Strange. I overthink, and I have like 1,000, problems and I have 1,000 solutions. But then I sit with my team and say, these are all the things that have opened up for me. So how do we sit down and how do we leave it to the audience? I don't like to, I don't like being defined, basically, but I love different interpretations. Like in our first meeting, the way you spoke about my music, I was like, I find it so, interesting the way you articulate the sound, it fascinates me. And same way, I also leave a lot of room with my directors. I work closely with Lendra Kumar, and I think we have that understanding where we both know that, we need to leave room for thought. People viewing the video must also leave room for the lyrics, for the words to kick in, for the vibe. It's internal. Music is internal for me. It's just not auditory. It's not pleasing the auditory. Is integrating all your thoughts and how you feel, is the soul and the mind together. I don't know if I make sense. This is me. This is basically the foundation of our operation. It's like we sit down. How do we make room for the guys? Like, what if? And I'm fascinated. All of us daughters in India are raised to the standards of being very goddess-like. We have to, the honor of the family is on our shoulders. I'm like, yes, I'm the bloodline of my ancestors, and I'm standing there like freaking strong. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make a change. That's my interpretation. I don't water down my personality to suit what was happening before my time. I use it to empower, to fuel who I am today, to impact my future. And I invest a lot in the present.
That it's a very, very fine line to walk, because it's not diluting yourself, like that entire thing of room for thought, right? When you are so yourself, to be able to also give space for the other person to be themselves is not an easy, it's quite a tall order, actually. So I was very interested by how that actually happens. How do you leave room for thought when you're being so yourself that it's like, here, this is me on a platter, and then how is there still space for the other person?
God, that's a very interesting question. I wasn't really ready for it. How do you? I don't know. It just happens. Ahalya. I don't do it intentionally, but I do love people. I really want people to like me, to understand me. It's basically Tribemama Marykali is trying to reach out to people, like, I might like Mary Kali with the 2 goddess names and all. It's all kind of very empowering and all. But there's also this human being, this inner child who loves to be loved. I like people to express their emotions, and I want them to feel, to be touched. So when I approach my work like that, maybe that leaves room for another person's perspective, because I value it.
Right.
Because I value your thoughts. I value we are all flawed. The system's flawed, but it's nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault. We are all trying to make it. We're all trying to swim and make it to the shore, and be at peace with ourselves. In that process, I don't want to be hard on myself. I don't want to be hard on the society. I don't want to be hard. I just want to make it easy. And what better way to make things easy than through your music? Music is not supposed to disturb you. But if it disturbs you, it is because that's what art is supposed to do. Art is supposed to make the comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfort. So there you have it.
Yeah, I think the entire idea of actually valuing the other person's perspective instead of focusing solely on yours is something that is that does bleed through a lot. And so I was listening to Sacred Blunt yesterday when it came out, and you referenced this whole idea of moral policing. You've had to deal with a fair bit of your, the moral police coming at you. And I was wondering, how does like Mary Kali deal with fear, and then how does Anna deal with fear? Because surely fear is a very natural response, right, that we all have, because suddenly it's just like, whoa, what is this coming at me?
Yeah,
How
yeah,
do
it
you,
was. Yes.
yeah, how do you deal with that? Like, did you like step up and deal with it as Mary Kali? Was that easier to deal with the fear that way, or did you have to deal with it as like Anna?
It upset me that they were going for my team because
Mm,
they're not responsible for anything. I was solely responsible for whatever content I'm putting out. But
yeah.
when they started making calls to my teammates, who I treat like family, that
Mm,
upset me.
right.
And I was like, it shouldn't upset. And I was more worried about my family and my friends than for me. When
Mm-hmm.
I took it easy, I was like, come what may, I'm here. I'm not, the only way I dealt with this, I'm not going to mirror the same hate that they were giving me. They were
Okay.
disturbed. They were like, how can you do this? How can you do that? I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm like, but then, yeah. And it was and for me, it was the first time in my life that I encountered that there are strict, mentalities, that's the moment I understood that I'm not strict.
Mm,
It reassured me the fact that I'm free. I'm
right.
free. I'm doing my own jam. And I was like, wow, when you do your own jam, someone's going to come ahead and try and discipline you because that's what they've been told to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I just dealt with, I don't see them. Maybe that's when I become tribe mama. I'm like, mama understands. A mom really understands.
Okay.
Sometimes us reacting to these hurt inner children, the inner child are so hurt, we
Mm-hmm.
cannot hurt them back with the same words that they've used to hurt me. So I was like, I cannot mirror you. If I've disturbed you, I apologize. Please do not take it personally. It's just me doing my thing. Let's
Right.
move on. But I don't think they're going to see it like that. They're going to keep coming to, but it's not in my jurisdiction
Mhm.
to make them comfortable also.
Yeah.
It's a
You don't
love-hate
necessarily
relationship.
have to appease people. Yeah, you just have to,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah. But I will not fuel the anger. I will
Mm,
not fuel the anger.
nice. Okay, I
It's not,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah, I like
yeah,
that.
I'm not feeling.
And that's the
I know
thing
they
is
hurt.
like, yeah, like that's the thing though, is like you have these, you have so many facets to you, but then it's also these two big like separate personas, right? But they don't actually seem that separate. Like Anna doesn't seem separate from Tribe Mama, and Tribe
Yes,
Mama doesn't
yes.
seem separate from Anna, which
It's
is,
integration.
yeah, which is difficult. Sometimes it doesn't happen for a lot of artists who have, say, monikers or who work under, with stage names. You sort of tend to embody that stage name and it becomes a very split, like a very
Yeah,
compartmentalized
yeah, it
existence,
is.
almost artistic existence. So,
Yeah, artistic. Yeah,
yeah.
and I have a lot of. Is like the way I said, I've been plotting all my life for
Yeah.
this to happen. Yeah, so it's a part of me. Marykali is. So I've never labeled her, and I don't
Yeah.
believe in labels, but she's a part of me, and I always take great care of her, what she wears, how she's been addressed to by me personally. That's the same way I would address my children. It's the same respect. It's the same way I would respect my husband, my mother-in-law, even the people who are disturbed by my content. I would still treat them with the same respect. I will. That's that's the only way I can maintain the balance.
Yeah.
I never want anyone to get the idea that it's okay to be different in a workplace and at home you can be another person. That's messed up. You got to be the
Ah,
one person you are. You have to, because you're born into the first institution that is called family, and you learn how to treat people. You learn how to respect. You learn how to negotiate. You learn many skills from home, and your home is where everything begins. And when you work outside, you got to have that kind of respect with the same word, because that's also another home. That's your second home, where you generate income, you make friends. You have to have that balance. So
I love
this is,
that. I really love the idea of like you've got to be, and it's like one person is many things, but those many things have to be at play all the time and not just
yeah,
in flashes.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
really cool. And we can borrow, right? Like the mom can
Yes,
borrow from the performer, and the
yeah.
performer can borrow from,
Performer can borrow.
yeah,
It's give and take. It's wonderful, right? There's balance. You don't have to cage one person to let the other person out. It's balance. Like, be at peace. I'm a multitude. We are everything,
yeah.
Ahalya. We are everything. We can be everything. We can be angry, sad. Just imagine, we human beings are capable of expressing so much.
Mm,
Why don't we just respect that?
yeah.
I can give birth. My husband is strong enough to raise a family, and I see strength. For me, these are not gender roles. These are human roles. humankind is so, and I'm in awe of all of us, the way we deal this world. I don't think that we are given credit.
Enough credit.
Yeah, we are not given enough
Oh,
credit. It's a it's a very complicated, it's a very intricate society, and all we're trying to do is make it simple and have, smile at the end of the day, maintain it. And how beautiful is that? How beautiful is that?
yeah. That's the thing is like, I don't think, I mean, increasingly I've seen that there's also just with social media and the way that it amplifies things, right? I've seen that there's kind of an apprehension to accept a person as many things and not just one thing. Like if I'm like a viewer, right, and I really I hold this artist in high regard, and I hold them in high regard because there's one part of them that really resonates with me. I latch on to that one part, and then if there's
Yes, yes.
anything else apart from that part, I get thrown off, and I'm like, no. But and that's something that happens, I think, very spontaneously and instinctively with a lot of people, a lot of listeners of music and stuff like that. But that's the thing, as an artist, how do you deal with change when you see yourself one day feeling a certain way really strongly and you put it down, right, in a song, and then
Mhm.
2 days from then you're just like, oh, I don't feel this way at all anymore. But the song is still really good. How do you deal
Good.
with that kind of change in your artistry? Do you accept it or do you reject it? If like the song is really good, you're like, leave it.
I don't. Uh, wow, that's a very, very beautiful question. I don't reject it.
Okay.
I respect it. I
Okay.
felt it.
Mm-hmm.
I felt it. I do not. It's something that I've always said in some interviews. That, like, I'm very unapologetic
Mm-hmm.
about what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I no longer feel shame to feel upset, sad, hurt, weak. Oh, these are all things that are so important. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's wrong to feel sad. No, it is important to feel sad. If you're not meant to feel sad, sadness wouldn't have been put in your system. It's a way of expressing that something's wrong, that you are struggling and you need to take time out. These are all signs. So when I felt something, when I wrote it down, maybe in the future you'll get to hear a track like that. I did feel hurt. And I did write it down, and then a couple of my friends heard, and it's like, Mama, why are you so direct? I said, it's all right to be so direct.
Okay.
It's all right. It's all right to be direct. Why would I want to write something, to please someone else?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want listeners. I'm here. My focus is not on the listeners when I write. It's on bringing out something that I felt. So I'm very. It's a human emotion. I respect that. So I sit and write that. For me, it's like, wow, this is how I would sound and feel when I'm turned on. This is how I feel when I'm angry.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, for me, it's like a realization. Oh, Anna and Marykali and all human beings.
Yeah.
This is how I react. These are
Yeah.
my thoughts. This is how I respond. For me, it's all like a documentation of how I felt.
Yeah.
Sometimes I see it like that.
Yeah, there was this
And
thing that
then,
I remember watching an interview with of Miley Cyrus, and she was talking about like how on the latest album that she had put out, how like for her the marker of a good song is if she's just captured the emotion that she's feeling at the time in its truest, most authentic form, and if she
yeah,
has, then that's successful. Like it's not about whether like, because she was saying there's so many songs that I sing on stage and I just don't relate to them anymore because I've grown and I've
yeah,
changed as a person, but
yeah.
it's still a good song if I've captured that emotion at that time,
Point.
in its most honest form.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Me too. Because I'm also a songwriter. For
Yeah.
me, it's a win-win. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's just not singing. Ahalya,
Yeah.
singing. Yeah. Then that's playback singing for me. That's what
Mm,
I did in the movies.
mm,
But when you write a song, where what moves you to write?
yeah.
It's not a script. My life is not a script. Human being, nothing for us is scripted. It's how we feel. It's in the moment. So when I'm able to capture that, I mean, I was like, oh, it's like, it's lyrically documented, like, okay, human beings feel like this.
Feel like this. Yeah.
Yeah, feel
That's
like
very
this.
cool.
And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not able to sing it. It's never about the hooks. It's never about the hooks or the melody or the chords.
Yeah.
And I get pissed when people push me, when some of the musicians push me in my past experience. They were like, we need the C7 there going into the major. And I'm like, babe, when you're
Yeah.
hurt and when you want to cry and sing, no one's going to sit and listen to your C7. Okay.
Yeah.
We just want to go,
Yeah.
keep bleeding my heart, keep bleeding. And you want to cry your heart out. And then
Yeah.
I was like, I relate to that, you know, and I've not really studied like chords or anything. I do take time out to sit and compose my own music. It strangely happens, babe. I don't know how God has wired me,
Yeah.
but I sit and these tunes come, and then if it's haunting me, it's a very haunting A minor. Then I know that I understand myself. I try and understand myself, and that's how I channel it through my music. So
Yeah.
for me, as a songwriter, this is huge for me because I love to write. I write daily. I write daily, like these 3 hours in a day. I invest in content. I read, and then another next day I write it down. Like, what did I understand from that? And for me, when I read through those things, I begin to write a song from whatever I've written. Those passages, I can pick up the lines. I pick up the lines, and I'm like, wow, I'm going to sit, and the tunes just happen. And then I call up a couple of my friends, and they'll be like, okay, let's put your thoughts together. It's never songs. So let's put these thoughts together. Let's harmonize them.
Yeah. I think that one thing that I really love about just the body of work that you have been putting out, and I'm sure that you will keep putting out, is the way that it humanizes a lot of these like it humanizes a movement, and it humanizes a lot of, like, not emotion, but just a lot of even just politics that we're all sort of grappling with and trying to figure out for ourselves, right? And that is important because it's like a culture and an environment of empathy for real and not just for namesake.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you so much
It
for
is thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for this lovely opportunity. Humming hard, Ahalya Narayanan. It was an absolute pleasure to let you pick my brain, and my God, your interesting questions, everything. Thank you so much. And before we end this, I would like to quote one of the stuff that I wrote in Sacred Blend. I went to school. They said, obey or fail. And I felt that. I felt that. I went to pray. I've been heartbroken. I went to pray, and they said, obey or hell. I felt that. And when I woke up one fine day and I said, yeah, this is what I'm going to do, the government said, obey or jail. I've always felt, and those song words at this time of what India is going through, I feel obedience is not the answer to anything. It is comprehension. You can tell your children, discipline. You must respect your parents. You must. This is very important for me. I know the interview is over, but I need to speak about this because it's comprehension. We've been instructed way too long as to what to do, how to do. You know, we've been doing this for years. Instruction is not the answer. Comprehension is. And when you allow yourself to comprehend yourself, that's when you start understanding people around you.
Yeah.
And we need to make room. And when we need to learn to sit with our thoughts, and music is the only answer. It's the only therapeutic medium that allows us to sit with our thoughts. And I'm so grateful that I'm in a position to do that therapy with all of my fellow human beings.
Yeah, and I think it's so wonderful that you are you're so passionate about the music and the sound, because it's really started to show through the tracks, like almost as an evolution, and it's really exciting to see where that's going to go.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, because it's taking its time. So all the best, and big congratulations from all of us on Kerela Gold. Really excited to see what else is ahead.